I was just watching a Napoleon Hill, kind of like an audio clip. He was talking about Henry Ford, how he wasn't the smartest, the most intelligent in the automotive industry, that he didn't have the best plan or whatever. But what he did is he eliminated the possibility of fear by going, I don't need to know the answer. He was asked once, what would you do if you were presented with a problem that you didn't know how to solve? And so Henry Ford said to Napoleon, he said, I wouldn't have to know the answer to it because I could always call upon at any time. I could call a mastermind meeting from anyone that I need to in my brain at any point in time. And they will be there in my head to speak with me, and I can have a meeting with them. When he said that, I was like, ding, Jesus. We all have the saying, what would Jesus do? Now, obviously got popular so that we could, sit and think, what would we do in this situation where I don't know how I want to conduct myself? What would Jesus do? Is the perfect answer in every situation. My friend Jonathan said, Jesus lived the life that he lived so that we could follow in his footsteps. And when he told me that, it really dinged into my consciousness. It's like, yeah, not only did Jesus come down here so that he could save us, but he lived the perfect life. So in any situation, you got to look, how would Jesus have done this? Now, there always isn't going to be a perfect pizza cutter slice answer for this. So what you do is you kind of look at it in the framework, I like to think of it anyway, as who would Jesus want me to listen to out of the options I have available? So just like Napoleon Hill here is saying, and he popularized this in his book, Think and Grow Rich, have the mastermind group that you're having this conversation with. And as he talks about in the beginning, the introduction to his book, Outwitting the Devil, there will be this other self that takes over for you and kind of starts to tell you what to do. Boom, go do this, go do that. That actually brings me to the other second half of why he was saying Henry Ford was so successful. He goes, he just had a set of routines, predictable, successful routines, and he followed them. Anytime fear is going to try to talk you out of doing that action, you just have to get up and start doing it, because once you have the action, then you're going to find the energy to do it. You can't find the energy to do it before getting the action. That's what everyone else does. So Henry Ford would always just be taking action. Napoleon Hill would recommend always take action. You need to attack fear full blunt in its face. Even if you don't know exactly what you're doing, do something. The plan will form on its way. Don't sit around and wait for it to happen. No one is as invested in your success or what you're going to be doing than you. You being the one that takes charge, sometimes that's going to mean you kind of don't really know what to do. Exactly what we were talking about last time. So I like talking about what Napoleon was going on in this video even further, because of the fact that when you don't know what to do, you can ask yourself, what would the person that I'm looking up to, doesn't have to be Jesus, right? That's just the perfect best example. But let's say you're looking up and you want to have a certain image as a certain musician, and you're like, how should I make my content? Well, just mimic them. Or even if you're not mimicking them, you can ask yourself, what would they do in my particular situation right now? For me, it's like Gary Vaynerchuk or Ty Lopez. In those situations, I think, what would they be doing right now? Well, they'd take out the camera and they'd start talking about their situation, and it wouldn't have to be perfect. That's why I'm okay with these kind of videos. And then Owen Cook really opened it up for me, because he's walking all throughout the city, and he'll stop and he'll show you a nice place. He's got his videographers following him around. It's really cool. So I thought, okay, he's doing it like that. Now I can do it like that. But I didn't just copy him willy-nilly. I didn't just see someone successful doing something and copy them. No, what I did is similar to the mastermind group. I go, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then what I do is I began acting on it. I was videotaping long before I found Owen Cook and him doing these sort of videos. So what I do is I began first. And then as I see people that are, wow, he's kind of doing what I want to do in his own way, let me see what I can pick up from it. And then you learn from it. Just like Napoleon Hill was saying. And I think he's talking a lot about the aspects of outwitting the devil, because at this point in time, he hadn't released this book, but he had obviously had the conversation with the devil, with him and his wife. If you don't know what I'm talking about, read Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Claims to have an actual conversation with the devil, prying out his thoughts and telling him how he controls the human race, how he keeps us tightened in those chains. And what the devil tells him in this interview is Napoleon Hill, Mr. Earthbound, is prying out these answers from this guy, this loser, is that you have to stay sharp as attack on what you're doing. You don't even have to be sharp as attack as in intelligent, like the best. Just like he was saying, just always be aware of what you're doing. My favorite line from the whole book, a weak plan will become strong if it is definite. So it's just like what he was saying with Henry Ford. He said he wasn't the sharpest witted individual. He just was sure, and if he didn't know the answer, then he would have a mastermind meeting in his head, and then he would come up with the answer by asking someone smarter than him. But it was in his head. So he was doing it through perspective, but eliminating the possibility of no answer. He's like, no, there is an answer. I just personally don't have the answer, but it doesn't mean that the mastermind group I have in my brain won't have the answer for me. And he's right. There's always someone that has the answer. So that's why I think it's important to slowly be building, or fastly if you can, your social circle of people that not only just do things you do, but people who are just interested in things in general. Because if you have people that are interested in things in general around you, then you're going to be a multifaceted person. If you hang out with someone, as Andrew Tate says, that makes milkshakes and ice cream all the time, you're going to accidentally know something about making ice cream and milkshakes. If you hang out with millionaires and rich individuals, people that talk about money all the time, then you're going to find out about money randomly. If you hang out with people that are loving God and worshiping God, chasing their best lives, not just mediocre lives, then you're also going to find information, little golden nuggets. You're going to pick it up along the road that you're walking. Whatever road you're walking determines the stuff that you're going to find along the path. You know, that's why people in the gold rush went all the way to California. A lot of them died on the way. But you don't have to do all that, because, you know, we live in a time period where you can kind of look at what you want to do. You can look inside, look what you want to do, then look back outside, see what everyone else is doing, and then pick what you like and literally make up the rules yourself. You don't have to listen to anyone else's frameworks. Make your own. The only framework you should be listening to, though, is God and Jesus Christ. Because if you're not listening to God and Jesus Christ, then that's just the enemy fooling you with a little bit of gain. Just like maybe eating a sugary pie tastes good at first, but if you eat that every day, you get fat. So don't let the enemy tempt you with short gains, no pain, no gain, right? You got to work out and rip apart the muscle fibers in order to do it, but it doesn't mean that you have to destroy your body and hurt your body in the process. So I'm going to end the video here. Like the video, comment what you want me to talk about next, subscribe if you want more. Shout out to my camera battery again, not dying on me. Out here in downtown Tarpon. It's beautiful, almost no one around. And stick around for another video. See you on the flip.